second part, don't you, Patty? That was Lady G's idea. You know what a frightful snob she is. She couldn't bear to put my address as Flat 2B, Baxter Gardens, SW5. That would have been too non-you. Well, West Wickham was your old home, said Pat cheerfully, as she grabbed her coat and hat and rummaged in her bag to see if she had remembered the lipstick, which she invariably forgot. "Coming, Chris?" she asked. "I feel I could jump over the moon instead of doing a morning's work." "I should worry if I were you, considering you'll be closeted with the boss most of the morning, taking down his letters, that is, if you aren't too busy lifting your lips for his passionate kisses." Christina laughed again. She too seized hat and coat. The girls walked together out of the little flat and down the 5 flights of stairs, up which Lady Gayland, Vince's mother, had never yet deigned to climb. Christina had asked her several times to come and eat an omelette and salad, just to show how well she could make a French omelette and a very special salad. Vince's mother had made suitable excuses, obviously shuddering at the idea of paying a call on Christina and her friend up in that shabby, dreary house. So far, all contacts with her son's new girlfriend had been made at Eaton Square or in some restaurant, or during a weekend down in the Gaylands' country home, which was near Chichester. Vince had a yacht, a Bermuda cutter, down there. He was mad about sailing. That was another thing that had brought him close to Christina. She had turned out to be so keen on the sea, and she was a good sailor. As Christina sat with Pat in the bus on her way to Gayland & Co.'s new luxury offices in Berkeley Square, she remembered the night when Vincent had proposed to her. It was just a week ago, in a club down at Bosham, after a wonderful day's sailing. Both of them, flushed from the sea, the sun, and the wind, with their cocktail glasses in their hands, had wandered out alone onto the veranda. Vince had just told his circle of friends about his plans for taking the yacht down to the south of France this summer. They were a gay party. Vince was a great party boy, and, thought Christina, he always looked so devastatingly handsome when he was in form, which he usually was. A head taller than herself, Vince was clean-limbed, brown-skinned and fair-haired, with long, narrow, rather impudent eyes, as grey-green as the sea he loved. She had never known a man more vital. He was the same at his job. He amazed her. The way he rushed in and out of the office, dashed to appointments, pulled off deals, keen on the business that his father had left him. Nothing lazy about Vince. If he played hard, he worked hard too. He had inherited the company and the fortune behind it, and he didn't intend to let it slide. Gayland & Company were the makers of the famous Gayland Arrow motorcycles. They had a factory in the Midlands. They did big export trade, and there was no doubt that the Gayland Arrow was as popular a cycle in this country as any. Christina's straying thoughts reverted to the night on which Vince had proposed.
"Chris, sweetie," he had said, "you've been my PA for the last 12 months. You're a marvellous secretary, and you've turned out to be more, a most marvellous companion. I know there have been other girls in my life. Mamma's hair has almost turned white with worry. She's been so afraid I'd marry the wrong woman. But you're dead right. She's not going to have to worry any more. I love you, Chris, and you're going to marry me. Let's go right back to the crowd now and tell them."
Typical of Vince. He hadn't even asked her if she would marry him. He had taken it for granted that her answer would be yes. He was so spoiled, and so charming. And when he had taken her in his arms and kissed her in that breathtaking, experienced way of his, she had melted in his embrace. She had felt that with him she could be strong in other ways, endure pain, grief, or trouble, anything bad that life had in store for her. But about Vince, she would always be weak. She was so hopelessly in love with him. As she had told him, his money and his position didn't mean a thing compared with her love for him, the man of her choice. She had said that unless he loved her in the same absolute way, she wouldn't want to link her life with his. "Of course it's obvious, darling," she said.